Breaking news on KSHP 41 News starts right now.
And that breaking news coming out of Douglas County. Health officials confirmed the first confirmed case of the Omicron variant in the Lawrence, Kansas area. Children ages 5 to 11 years old are one step closer to being eligible for a COVID-19 vaccine. Hospital beds are filling up and some patients are being turned away so doctors can treat people dealing with severe symptoms of COVID-19. In Missouri, 85% of ICU beds are currently filled.
At 8:26 and at 8:56.
What is that?
Brian, watch out.
Oh no. The enforcement. First of all, this will be enforced.
Yes.
We've heard you talk about that. How will you do it? What the stay-at-home order means for all of us. A couple of notes I was taking during this press conference and some of the questions that were being answered. Officials talked about a number of things, including local issues with a shortage on ventilators and also some local problems with not enough test kits for COVID-19. First at 10 o'clock, we're following some breaking news. A fire at a business in KCK.
The amount of love that we've seen in the few hours of people coming together and cleaning.
Well, shot froze up, but you get the message, folks. Basically, a community that right now is hurting from last night, now starting to come together. The images that we saw from Ray's report of people now starting to pick up, and that's the true spirit of Kansas City. Excuse me for wearing my sunglasses, but this shot behind me is so bright that you really got to wear your sunglasses. This is going to be an important tool this morning, Jeff. We've already seen some amazing donations. I want you to check this out. These are just a few of some of the smiling faces of people who have made donations, and guess what? You can as well.
KSHP 41 News starts now.
As COVID cases spike across Missouri, an ICU nurse compares her work in frontline health care to that of a soldier.
We are simply breaking under the pressure. I don't know how many people have to continue to die from this for the public to realize we really, really need their help.
Right now, ICUs around Missouri are at record levels. Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services reports as of Tuesday, hospitals statewide had 689 COVID-19 patients in ICU. That's the highest total ever. That ICU nurse you just heard from, her name's Shannon Hoffmeyer. She works at Capital Region in Jefferson City. She recalls in heartbreaking detail the moments when she watched people say their final words to dying COVID patients.
Literally.
This comes as vaccination rates across Missouri trail behind the national average. Here's a look around the Kansas City metro. Jackson County is at 47% of people with at least one dose, while Johnson County, Missouri is at 32%. East of Johnson County is Pettis County, where rates are under 40%. Something that we've reported on as the Delta variant spreads is this variant is reaching younger people more than other strains. Tonight, we want to share the story of one young man whose life was cut short and what his community is doing to try and prevent a similar tragedy in the future. Here's KSHP 41 News reporter Andres Gutierrez.
41 News.
FedEx Ground released a statement that reads in part, quote, "First and foremost, we are deeply saddened by the loss of our team member, Ian Hawkins, and extend our deepest sympathies to his family, friends, and co-workers during this difficult time." The statement went on to say, "We are strongly encouraging team members to get vaccinated and are actively working to help ensure they are aware of the numerous opportunities that are widely available in communities across the country to receive their COVID-19 vaccine." If you're ready to get vaccinated but are not sure where to start, head to KSHP.com. That's where you'll find this story with a list of vaccine sites and resources available across the metro. Wes, thank you. The Taliban continues its rapid takeover of Afghanistan. Today, insurgents made their way into the capital city of Kabul after taking control of the country's other major cities. After 20 years of war, the U.S. is evacuating its embassy. Kabul airport is currently the only safe way out of Afghanistan. The evacuation of Americans continues tonight, but due to sporadic gunfire, the embassy is telling people to shelter in place. Lawmakers on both sides of the state line and both sides of the political aisle shared their thoughts on the crisis in Afghanistan. Let's start with Kansas Senator Dr. Roger Marshall. He tweeted in part, quote, "As Mike Pompeo has said, you can negotiate peace with the Taliban, but you can't trust them. Like President Eisenhower, he believes in strength through peace. The White House should have adopted this strategy instead of projecting weakness and placing American lives at risk." End of quote. Missouri Congressman Emanuel Cleaver released a statement that reads in part, quote, "There will be plenty of time to discuss what went wrong, what we could have done differently, and our nation's decades-long failed foreign policy in Afghanistan and the Middle East. However, in this critical moment, we must focus all of our efforts and energy on evacuating American citizens, diplomats, and other officials, as well as the Afghans and the families of those who courageously served at our side." Another international story that we're watching is the aftermath of an earthquake in Haiti. Tonight, one metro organization is stepping up to help people after a 7.2 magnitude quake rocked the country. Heart to Heart International is sending a medical team to the affected area. They're expected to arrive Monday morning. The organization's CEO says they've had a presence in Haiti since the 2010 earthquake and were ready to respond to this latest disaster. The medical team will be watching the weather as Tropical Depression Grace is expected to pass over Haiti. Heart to Heart International says financial donations will help their efforts. Coming up, are you planning to fly? What you should know before you book your trip.
I had to make a lot of adjustments to what I really wanted my students to achieve.
We want to take you to another local school gearing up for the first day. Teachers talk learning loss from the pandemic and how families are navigating the challenges to prepare tomorrow morning on KSHB 41.